Hello out there. My name is Laolu Akonde and you are on to Inside Sources. But first, here is my take for today entitled Two Important Matters of the Moment. The first one is what I call the Keyamo magic. Leaders always set the standards in any society. When you see how people behave, check what the leaders are doing. John Maxwell is right. Everything rises and falls on leadership. That is why we have to say this today on the several dramas going on among air passengers, airlines, government, and the people of Nigeria. Specifically, the transformation of Kwam, that is King Wasiu Ayinde, from offender to ambassador for good behavior all within a week is rather curious. It is looking more like an abracadabra, aka the Keyamo magic. Kwam, who has a reputation, seems to have come in handy with his reputation to save the day for him, but in a rather distasteful manner. It is true that reputation can upend law and order, and that is exactly why societies needed and still need the rule of law. Otherwise, only the rich and the famous all alone will have access to justice when they are wrong and access to mercy when they offend. Just because they can pay the price with their wealth or their fame, but that would not build a decent and upright nation or people. So we got to watch it. The minister, Festus Keyamo, said the lessons have been learned in this saga. But my dear senior advocate and my dear good brother, not too fast. It makes you look like a magician, Mr. Keyamo. The time to showcase Kwam as an ambassador is not now. Remember, action speaks louder than voice. Let us see Kwam show some repentance in the eye of the people. That is the first thing that has to happen. You should have given Kwam the opportunity to cool his heels a bit, pay off his debt to society because of his misconduct at the airport. And then when people have seen him return over a good period of time, behaving as a worthy example, you can then confer on him the status of an ambassador. The rush right now by you, the minister, has only made matters worse. Worse for the government that you represent, and worse for Kwam, the artist that a lot of us love so much for his talent. As for Comfort Emerson, the lady, she reserves the right to press charges. But we have also seen our own misbehavior in the circumstances. And so it's good to always be cautious. Regarding Ibom here, which is clearly building a good reputation as an airline, they also need to demonstrate that they can do better and that they have the capacity to improve on the relationship that their staff show to their clients. Their responsibilities towards their passengers can be better done. Let us remember that the customer is always king. Respect, order, and decency are non-negotiable. And finally, on this matter, as a people, we need to be frank with ourselves. Passengers must conform to lay down rules and seek redress when they feel offended only according to the laid down regulations, not by a resort to self-help. The second issue is about what I call NYSC, RAE, and Sowore. Like him or not, no one can deny that Omoyele Sowore is pressing hard for public interest in Nigeria and challenging those in authority to become more accountable and to become more transparent. And we must give Sowore his flowers because already he's carrying a burden and is paying for it with scars. Recently, he managed to get out of the police detention on some undisclosed petition against him. Some say some of the petitions were from the IGP himself. We don't know for sure. All of these things are still cloudy. Now, right after the detention, Sowore has managed to get on the case of Uche Rita Ugumaye, a.k.a. Raye, that female copper who openly expressed frustrations about the hardship in the country. Since then, Raye, as she has come to be known, has been having running issues with the NYSC and several government spokespeople. Now, Raye has been denied her clearance after the mandatory one-year national service that she completed. Mr. Sowore, fresh from detention, has thankfully jumped on her case, and we also think it is time to speak up on behalf of this lady, who should not be punished because she expressed frustrations on social media on what is happening in the country. While Raye was a copper, she couldn't have lost her fundamental human rights to the freedom of expression. The fact that she's a copper does not mean she no longer has those fundamental human rights. And so the continued denial of her clearance is a bad image for the NYSC and is a poor reflection on the government and people of Nigeria, all of us. And so we call on Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, the Director General of NYSC, to do what is right and direct the Lagos State NYSC Coordinator, Mrs. Christiana Samwang, to release Raye's clearance immediately. Let us be fair to ourselves, and let us be fair to the lady, and let us be fair to the good name of Nigeria. And there you have it. Inside Sources will be right back. Welcome back to Inside Sources. Today we are opening the show with a panel discussion on some of the major issues in the news. To join me in that important conversation, I have two notable Nigerian journalists of note. To my immediate right, I have the former managing director and editor-in-chief of The Guardian, Mr. Martin Oloja. Mr. Oloja, welcome back to Inside Sources.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And to his immediate right, my far right, I have a notable author, former banker, and also a veteran journalist, also, by the way, of The Guardian, Mr. Etim Etim.
Thank you very much.
So we have The Guardian mafia back. All right, so the way I want us to start today is that I want both of you to just pick one issue that you think is important, you know, and make opening remarks about it, you know, individually, separate issues, and then we come back to discuss them. So let's start with Etim.
For me, what strikes me this week is the announcement by EFCC that they have arrested former governor of Sokoto State and Senator
Tambuwal.
Aminu Tambuwal. And they are also investigating Senator David Mark and other persons in the coalition. I don't have a problem with EFCC investigating and arresting people, but focusing on opposition politicians at this hour, people who are coalescing and gathering to provide opposition and challenge the presidents, arresting them now sends wrong signals. The optics is not right at all. We have people the EFCC had investigated and was about to prosecute who have been appointed ministers. Why are we not concluding those cases? Where are the cases of Madam Beta Edu, the former humanitarian minister that has been under investigation for 3 years now? We want EFCC to appear to be fair and objective and not persecuting opposition politicians.
Okay. Thank you for that opening one. So, Mr. Oloja, what would be your major issue? And then we come around to discuss these two things.
My major issue is the matter of the moment in the aviation industry. And people have even termed it one Quam 1. That one Quam, some people even released Quam 3 last night. And, you know, it is becoming more and more interesting because of how it is generating judgment that people are surprised about. Inspector General of Police Office who announced that they had received a petition from a regulatory authority.
Yeah,
and the aviation actually is the most regulated
Correct.
in the world.
Because issues of safety.
Because of issue of safety. Before you knew what was happening, you had one of the suspects has been appointed a designated ambassador. And it's really very interesting. We believe that the quality of mercy should not be strained like that.
Interesting. Okay, so we have two very important discussions. So let's now delve into it, and I'm going to take it back to Etim now. So you raised the issue of EFCC now trying to say that, hey, Tambuwal has some corrupt cases, and there are also speculations about David Mark. I'm not sure whether that has been confirmed that they are going after David Mark. But my question to you, therefore, is that, so if we are to take one between fighting corruption and the other issue, which is a strong independent opposition, which is a very, I'm asking you a tough question. But if you have to take one, just like I think it was Jefferson that said that if I were to choose between government
newspaper.
or newspaper, I would take a newspaper. That kind of question. Don't you think, or what would be your choice if only you can pick one, just to deepen the conversation?
I can pick the two at the same time. The two are very key, very important. Strong opposition and strong independent anti-graft agency. They are all needed for sustainability of our democracy. But we don't need an EFCC or anti-graft agency that seems to be pandering to the opinions or emotions of the government. This is politics season. We have a group of people coming together to challenge the president. They have been in the news. The presidency has been criticizing them for many reasons. And now you, EFCC, anti-graft agency.
The president said it's a sinking ship.
The president is calling the coalition a sinking ship. And you, EFCC,
but now you
find that appropriate time to go after the sinking ship. It doesn't look good. Look, organizations pursue their missions with tact, strategy, optics, and with keen ear to what the public will think.
And timing.
And timing, too, is important. I mean, this is... I want them to investigate Aminu Tambuwal and every other person, but the timing is so wrong. EFCC should start with the cases of Beta Edu, Matawale, and conclude those cases before they begin to go to opposition cases.
That will look better. And as I take it to Mr. Lodja, I also wanted to just deepen it that, so we don't even know the outcome of Beta Edu's.
It's not been published. They've buried it.
And if you ask the people in the EFCC, what they say is that, well, look, they have done their part, and the thing is already with the authorities, with the powers that be, whatever it is. But what EFCC seems to be missing is that you can't fight this war of against corruption in a hide and seek manner. You are either out or you are in.
Correct.
You can't be in and out. And I'm sure that, you might want to address this. This issue of EFCC becoming a tool in the hands of the administration, even if it's just a perception, is not new. So is it just that we can't have an EFCC, or we can't fight corruption independently, that it has to have all this political coloration? Here it is, you haven't told us what you are going to do with Beta Edu, and now you are going after Tambuwal.
Oh, definitely. I think the way it is, that's perception matters. And the way people perceive this, that EFCC is obsessed with a media trial. And that is the difference we find between the EFCC and ICPC. ICPC completes, most of the time, you see the way they do their thing. They deal with as public officers. They complete their investigations. They complete their investigations before they announce. And when they start their own, there is no, then I would say we are getting bail or anything like that. They complete their investigation. I remember when they were screening a particular ministerial nominee, the senior advocate of Nigeria, who later, who was to be Minister of Labor.
Okay.
In the first 4 years of
Ball.
Yes, and the minister died in office.
Yeah.
But I remember when maybe he emphasized that they might make him justice minister.
I think it was the man from Kogi.
Yes, the man from Kogi. The man said specifically, and he impressed the Senate when he said that if he were
to be Attorney General,
that they will need more money. He will ask for more money because you need so much to do investigation. And by the time you are through with your investigation, that nobody should doubt it, and then it won't trial itself won't take.
It's just like, but sorry for talking.
Yes.
It's just like what happens in the US. When the US federal government is coming after you.
Yes.
You know, most of the time people just hands up because they know the thoroughness and the details, the diligence of the effort.
But this particular one now, you just hear that they have when they call somebody when they respond to invitation, before you know it, they say the person has been arrested. A few hours after, the person is released. That is media trial that we are saying they should run away from. They should complete their investigation and try people, because, you know, they are making us now to choose between the devil and the deep blue sea, as you wanted him to do. But look at it. Should we say they should not fight corruption in a country that corruption has weighed down? No, we shouldn't say that. But we feel that whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. That we are even saying, just as they are doing within the ICPC, they even have an institute, and they have perception index, and they have released result of the perception index. Most of the time they say this institution is corrupt. They have even mentioned members of a particular paramilitary agency, one even a revenue agency. They have mentioned police. They have mentioned in the perception index result they released. So they have institute. So they are pursuing prevention of corruption, prevention of crime. And that is what we feel should be done. And that is why we need to be speaking to the authorities about this one.
Right.
That even the Orosaye panel's report has recommended
the merger,
so that they can do something really very serious.
Yeah.
Do thorough investigation before arraigning people. You know, when that ministerial nominee at that time was talking about it, he even referred to a case of a former governor in Nigeria that they were trying, that the anti-corruption agency had about 103 cases on the neck of the ex-governor, and
we can mention his name.
No, I don't want to mention the name of anybody.
Okay.
And then, but at least let us face the issue, the message.
About this,
that even the governor was trying to create a court in his own jurisdiction to continue the trial. But before you knew it, the British authorities picked up the governor in UAE. Yeah. And by the time they got to court, they had completed their investigation. And it just took a few minutes.
And
he agreed when they presented the result of investigation. Plea bargain. But he was still jailed. You know, this is exactly what we want to advise. We won't bring down an institution like that. It's an important institution, but we should get to a situation where we will have nothing to report to such institutions. Like they are closing down some prison, so all these correctional centers, even in Scandinavian countries, because there is nobody to come there. We want to have a situation where we prevent corruption through the civil service, so through civil service rules and regulations. So what is the point of talking and telling the world that we are fighting corrupt people? Why haven't we prevented corruption through civil service rules, regulation, and financial instruction? Why can't permanent secretaries be held responsible as accounting officers in the civil service? Why can't we use the Public Procurement Act and the institutions created by these Public Procurement Acts and those public procurement agencies within the ministries, departments, and the agencies to prevent corruption? Why is it that it is so easy to steal public fund in Nigeria? Why is it easy when an Obama's wife will come to talk to her, that even to buy Coke, as you know, to any guest at the White House, you got to pay.
Yeah.
That even there, the president doesn't have the right to use Air Force One anyhow to visit his friends.
Yeah, or for his campaign.
Or for his campaign.
You know, he has to pay this.
That you cannot use public funds to pay the election expenses. Or anything. Why is it so easy here? Why is it so easy? I think EFCC or ICPC or Code of Conduct Tribunal, they should know that they are serving the public. And that perception is very important. So what my friend Etin is saying is germane. They should allow public perception to support whatever they are doing, because the optics at this moment aren't favorable.
Not looking good. I mean, and it's interesting that you made that point, because about preventive corruption, because I know that it's one of the things that Mr. Olukoyede has said that he wants to do, is to actually do a lot of preventive.
That's very nice.
You know, but
he said that.
But exactly, you know, the optics is not looking good at all, you know, if you are going after Tambuwa at this time. But we do agree, all of us, that yes, we got to fight corruption. You know, but do it in the right timing, so that you can have public trust. All right, let's move to the second point, which is the issue of the moment, like
the issue of the moment. Yes.
So it started last week with King Wasiu Ayinde, who I think is a very extremely talented artist.
Very talented.
You know, and of course the whole nation knows that he's a friend of the president. You know, this is the guy that sings and the president dance. So we know his influence.
Yes.
Now he goes to the airport, and he almost prevents or got even injured by his positioning when the aircraft was going to take off. If that happened in the US, I think they'll first of all arrest him for terrorism.
Absolutely.
You know, and now the Minister for Aviation says that, look, we have to deal with this. This is a very serious problem. Says, okay, it's going to be, you know, no, you can't fly for, I think, 3 months.
Yes.
And then the petition goes to the IGP. Within 1 week, the minister comes back.
It's not up to a week.
Exactly. So the minister comes back and says that, everybody has learned their lesson, you know, and then we have reduced this and we have reduced that. The question I want to ask you, and I think we start with you, Martin, is that, isn't there, you know, because the minister is talking about lessons, and you know, everybody should learn lessons. We should learn, but isn't there a reason why there is a time lag? So if my child has done something wrong and I want to punish him, you know, there's a time for that punishment.
That is the time.
You know, and at the end of the day, I want him to get the lesson. Have we have enough time regarding King Wasiu Ayinde? You know, is 1 week, because it doesn't matter whether you have reduced it to 1 month. You have already told the nation that King Wasiu Ayinde can go free from now.
Yes.
With what you have said.
Yes.
Yes, he has shown remorse, and I think that's a good thing.
Yes.
That he came out and apologized. Yes. That's a good thing. But is the time enough that now we're already talking about, you know, how to make him
ambassador
of
the aviation industry?
You know, can we wait for like 1 year or something? Martin?
I think let us start this way. I think the guy is now qualified to, we know you have read that we don't even have ambassadors anywhere. Since he is an ambassador of culture now, in a culture of impunity we are discussing, to be an ambassador to discourage a culture of impunity, he should be appointed Nigeria's United Nations ambassador, Nigeria's ambassador designate to the United Nations as an ambassador of culture, of the way we are. And I think that is
that's actually what he's doing.
That is what is happening. I believe, just, you know, the last time I was here, I quoted one Shakespearean saying that any mercy that forgives a murderer encourages murder. Mercy, that the quality of mercy is not strength. Any mercy that forgives a murderer encourages murder. And this kind of thing that they are doing, we are telling the world that really we are deepening our culture of impunity. See, was he being appointed an ambassador of lawlessness, ambassador of impunity? What are we talking about? He has not even served the term. They have reduced it to 1 month.
Yeah.
Before the Minister of the Republic will sign a statement that the federal government has decided that the guy will even be designated an ambassador. On behalf of more than 211 million Nigerians
who are perplexed and bewildered by its action.
Yes, it shows
1
that
week ago.
really everywhere. What we know is that government, because of next election, government is afraid of the people. But they are now making us to be afraid of government. We, the people, are being afraid of what government can do. What is the next judgment call that will be against us? You know, from the Heritage Foundation and Wall Street Journal perception on whether economic freedom or perception on ease of doing business. One of the factors they look at is the legal framework for the country. You want to come to a country where the law rules, not where men rule. In a situation where you allow men to rule in the aviation industry, what kind of foreign direct investors will want to choose to come to a country where somebody who stood yesterday in front of a plane that had been cleared
will become an ambassador?
Within a few hours, the person has been pardoned and they have been designated ambassador of impunity. I believe that we should do certain judgment calls should be right at this time on behalf of the people. They are making these calls on behalf of the people, and I think it is the wrong time. And I have not seen, before coming here, I haven't seen any platform where this decision has been held.
True. I mean, Eti, your take on this.
Clearly, this is a case of aviation minister overruling the directive of NCAA. NCAA is a regulator in the industry.
Yes.
And nobody by law overrules NCAA, just like nobody overrules the way CBN regulates the banking industry, or should. Now, NCAA had made its case known on this matter. And NCAA is an affiliate of ICAO. ICAO is a global regulator of aviation industry. So what we are seeing now is being observed by ICAO. ICAO rates aviation industry and airports in each country.
Yes.
So you can be downgraded and American Airlines would withdraw from your airspace because you've been downgraded.
Yes.
It has happened before in this country.
Yeah.
So now Festus Keyamo has come in, apparently acting at the behest of his boss. I mean, he couldn't have done this without his boss endorsing it. We have to be frank enough. Otherwise, he has come in and overruled NCAA. It is very, very frightening. It is very disturbing.
So it's your view that he probably consulted with the president, or
there's no way you will take this type of decision
because you did say
and issue a statement on behalf of the federal government without the president being aware of it. It's not a conjecture. You can, unless you are running your own independent government within government.
Interesting. I mean, which makes it quite troubling because, you know, I am thinking about young people, young Nigerians, even, you know, people in their 9s, 10, 11, 12, 13, you know, that are observing all of this.
Correct.
They saw this misbehavior on television and everything is, you know, I mean, we have left the days where people don't know what is happening anymore. It's not only on TV, on people's phone, everybody saw what happened just a week ago. I mean, aren't we supposed to be thinking about the kind of mental images that we're allowing young people to see?
To absorb.
You know, because this thing goes down to, in my view, it defines who we are or who we have become.
I can't believe in the life of me that there is a president who is running a big and important country, important at least in West Africa,
right?
And this type of thing will happen, and he stands aloof and allows his people to manage the system. I don't believe it.
Okay,
you see, I can't believe it.
Yes, this is
Even Buhari, we all thought knew nothing about what is happening in his government. This will not go without his taking action. I believe President Tinubu has been aware of what has been happening in the aviation industry in the last 1 week, and I believe he is behind all the decisions that his Minister of Aviation has taken.
Yeah, that is it. Well, I believe that even if the president had not been aware, as people are discussing this thing, they should actually gauge public perception about what is happening, the way we are discussing it, and saying, look, the same president reappointed the chairman of Federal Character Commission less than 12 hours. They discovered that, no, even in the statement they used.
The updated one.
Yes, the updated statement. They now said that controversial. You read it?
Yes.
So this same president, nothing is wrong. If the president decides to direct, say this is what the people are saying, Mr. Honorable Minister, what really happened? What did you do? Look, they can read it to the Honorable Minister like this, that the Nigerian Civil Aviation Act, specifically Section 303, as he said, of the Civil Aviation Act 2022, grants the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, the power to regulate standards and potentially suspend pilots. Why the act doesn't directly give the Minister of Aviation the power to suspend pilots? It establishes the NCAA as the regulatory body responsible for civil aviation in Nigeria, and the NCAA exercises this power through its regulations only. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria. He knows this thing. We shouldn't add political enthusiasm to regulation of this particular industry, because there is no way of saying, Laolu, wait, let us correct this thing in the air. There is no way of saying, no, let us park to correct this for safety reason. It's sensitive.
I agree with you guys on your analysis. The only insight that I offer is that at the beginning of it, what I have seen that happens in government is that there are people around the president who do a lot of, giving orders, insinuating things, especially if people don't see the president often. So somebody around the president is going to say, no, that's the president's friend. You better be careful. But you are right. The president must have come to the knowledge of what has happened. And if he doesn't feel that what the minister has done is right, then he needed to act. Failure to act, we are free to assume that one more thing before we close, gentlemen. I want us to talk about the campaign issue. So INEC came out last week. I think even Mr. Femi Falana, senior advocate, also said that, look, I mean, how come we are getting into electioneering campaign so pretty early? We still have 2 clear years, to go. Governance, in my view, is suffering. But the problem that I noticed is that I don't think that INEC has the power to really enforce this thing. What's your take? Let's start with Eti, and then we conclude with...
INEC has the power to enforce. INEC usually issues a 1-year guidelines leading up to elections, stating when primaries would hold, when election will hold, when campaigns will start, when nominations will start, when replacements of candidates will be, and so on and so forth. It's usually a 1-year timetable. That 1 year has not yet come up. Now campaigns have started, almost so. INEC is lame duck. Number one, we have an INEC chairman who also has had his reputation damaged. And he's leaving in the next 2-3 months. So he's pretty much absent-minded. We have a ruling party that is desperate to be re-elected. So the ruling party is actually the ones that has initiated this electioneering campaign.
Well, but Mr. Peter Obi too is basically also campaigning. Everybody,
the ruling party started it. Now the opposition has jumped onto it, and now we have the whole country in election mode. INEC should issue a statement.
Well, they have issued one.
saying
They've issued one, I think, signed by our friend and brother, Rotimi, to say that it's not time.
Press secretary to INEC chairman issuing statement. Nobody will listen to that one.
The issue is not even who started the campaign or this thing. It's about propriety. And we know that in this business, you can stop politicians, but you can't stop politics and politicking.
Okay.
But this particular campaign is specific. You see billboards all over the place.
That's what I'm saying
2027.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's one big billboard in Sokoro.
There are so many cyber soldiers who are already discussing this thing, who are also attacking people, who are doing all sorts of things.
Presidential aspirants are talking about, I will do only one.
I will do only one time. That's a politics. I will do it one time. I will do. Let us reduce this thing to only 5-year term. Let's do. Everybody is campaigning, whether opposition or ruling party. But somehow, we have a country. And people it's a very small world now. Information travels at the speed of thought, not light anymore.
I like that.
Speed of thought. I think is Bill Gates. He wrote a book on this thing. Information. Now, whatever we do, just before we started this, we were discussing how editors have lost powers, especially traditional editors.
Yeah.
It is now information. News management is now have been reduced to conversation of some sort.
Yeah, and everybody has the right.
Everybody is an editor.
As long as you have a phone, you have a platform,
everybody is discussing. People are even spreading fake news, all sorts of things. Later, people will sift the fake news from original, But perception is really very important, and other nations are looking at us. That we are the most populous black nation on earth. And we shouldn't just we shouldn't do anything anyhow. We should be seen to be disciplined. We are applying to be part of the United Nations
Council.
We should behave well. We shouldn't just be doing things anyhow and say that it doesn't matter. I can do it anyhow. People are looking at us. And government people and the president's men who are advising and who are shaping the president, who are helping us, we are helping, whatever we are doing here, we are helping the president.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
That's what we are doing. Right. We are helping him to succeed. We're helping him to succeed, and those people who are working, who have been employed to help him, should know that they are serving the people. And that perception is very important. Perception not only of the presidency, but perception of who we are. That this are Nigeria. When you carry a passport and you get to an airport, they see that this person is not from the office of the president. It's a Nigerian. It says stand aside because of the way they have seen us. Very true. So whatever they are doing, they should know that we are talking about Nigeria, not about a particular government or ruling party. We are talking about Nigeria, and Nigeria, our country. Nigeria, our country. That the perception we are talking about is when we go out of the place and when people see events that we are reporting, we are shaping, we are contextualizing, it's not about the president. It's not about the president's man. It's about Nigeria.
It's about Nigeria because, like somebody said, I heard it, earlier today, that we don't run a monarchy.
No.
It's a presidential system, 4 years in, 8 years max, and then you are out of the place. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this very exciting conversation, Mr. Etim and Mr. Martin Oloja. Thank you for coming to Inside Sources.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes. And there you have it. That is one segment. Inside Sources will be right back with the second segment where we are looking at an update on the issue of elite consensus, which we have campaigned for a lot in Inside Sources. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside Sources. In this segment, we're going to be talking about elite consensus, something that we've mentioned quite a number of times here on Inside Sources. If you remember, we had here the former INEC chairman, Professor Atairu Jega, who is involved in an effort to see how we can have an elite consensus in Nigeria. And so he is an important member of a committee under the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies that is looking at how we can make elite consensus happen in Nigeria. There's an update, and I have with me a member of that committee who is also a member of the Academic Advisory Committee of the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies. I'd like to welcome to Inside Sources, Professor Yusuf Zwaka a professor of political science at the University of Abuja. Prof,
Yeah,
welcome to Inside Sources.
thank you so much for the privilege and opportunity.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, just for the benefit of our audience, let's just start from the imperative of national consensus. Now, why do you think we need to have an elite consensus? Just let's kick it off like from there.
If we don't get the elites to agree on those issues, then we'll keep going back and forth without really resolving them. And so for that reason, I think the committee was set up, to first carry out a survey of the whole country. And we did a methodology workshop, which you said you attended.
Yes, yes.
Where, the instruments for the research was further sharpened so that it can be, deployed to the field. And so about 505 questionnaires were deployed, and we got, research assistants from virtually all the universities, in Nigeria, in all the states, to carry out the
research.
And the result of that research, because out of 505 questionnaires, about 502 questionnaires were returned. That gave us a return rate of over 99%.
Which is quite impressive.
Yeah, so we, on the basis of that, outcome, we now went in to analyze, the questionnaire based on the various, items that were, tested in the field, which include but not limited to issues about whether there was need for constitutional amendment, whether there's even the need for elite consensus to start with.
Right.
Do we even need to have an elite consensus? And then issues about what should we do with corruption? How do we tackle such problems? And then we made some, and of course, issues about citizenship and indigenship, because that has been affecting, a lot of people. And so therefore, from the feedback we got, the questionnaires were analyzed, and then we now called, a larger group yesterday of all the stakeholders, which included, but was not limited to, members of the security forces, the financial sector, the politicians themselves represented by IPAC, the academia, the media, even people from Nollywood, the movie industry, because we have elites virtually in all the segments of society that were represented. And in that validation workshop, they tend to agree largely with virtually all we said and the outcome of the report, which now they now gave their own observation as to how we can further sharpen that report and then prepare for a national summit, which we think in very short time to come will be convened, so that again a broader and more a larger group will come around, and then of course that report will be presented to them. Then of course we get more inputs.
Right.
That could even feed into the constitutional amendment that is going on now.
Right.
Because that's a more scientific way of going about some of these issues.
True.
Yeah.
True. Interesting that there's quite a bit of progress. Just for the benefit of our viewers, I wanted to explain that the problems in our country, especially on the political scene, which is important because the political scene controls every other sector, is that we need to bring together all the political actors around some basic understanding and to agree on benchmarks. So, for instance, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of political parties, regardless of our religion, and all the other things that separate us, that we should have, the elites should have an agreement. Some people have called it development bargain, all kinds of different names. So I wanted to ask you, that what are the core issues, and you have been involved in this effort that is, by the way, coming out of the National Assembly, because National Assembly is the one that owns the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies. Yeah. So I mean, this is quite a commendable effort on the part of the National Assembly. Yeah. But in your own view, Prof, so what are those highlights, the major issue, maybe the 3 or 4 top things that we need to have an elite consensus over? If you understand what I mean, Prof.
I understand what you're saying. I think some of the issues we looked at that we felt there's need, to have an elite consensus on are issues that border with, the economy, of Nigeria. We have a monocultural economy driven by oil, and we say no, unless we diversify into other sectors so that we can, overcome the problem of unemployment, we increase the per capita income, get a more stable economy.
Right.
Because we are depending on one thing, the moment that thing has a problem globally,
Right.
we are nowhere to be found.
True.
It will affect us. And so we felt there's need to diversify the economy. And of course, we talked about issues about the politics itself, that there's a need for the political elites.
Right.
Because they are the drivers, of development, whether we like it or not.
You think, yeah.
Everything that happens in the country, they have to take the lead. And we felt that, there's need for them really to be more patriotic, and also try to agree on some issues. For instance, we looked at the issue of, even though not directly on religion, but we tried to ask the question, for instance, should state governments be sponsoring pilgrimages? And you'll be shocked that a lot of the elites are saying no, that they should stop sponsoring that. And that religion also has been a problem.
Right.
That has been divided. The people have been exploiting it, just to achieve their goals. Because what they do is to manipulate religion. It's not as if people are really serious about it, but how will they use it to achieve their own advantages and so on? So also have issues about, indigenship and citizenship. And people are, saying that, look, we should better, talk about citizenship. Because a lot of people living in different parts of Nigeria may not necessarily be indigenous of those places. But you have stayed there for over 40 years, 50 years, and yet
you don't have.
You are being considered. In fact, the other problem is that because in the workshop, some of the individuals were complaining that they were born in this place, they grew up there, their parents have been living in those places.
Right.
Now, even their own children, who are supposed to be grandchildren to their parents,
right,
are still considered to be outsiders. And we felt that is something that virtually every person you find is affected by that kind of situation. So there was a need to say that, look, because we looked at other climes. For instance, if you take the case of Rwanda after the genocide,
right,
what they did was to abolish the issue about whether a Hutu or a Tutsi, since that was a big problem. And so it's okay, why don't we look at other societies that have made progress? Should we continue to hold on to certain things that is keeping us backward? Because if we now decide, for instance, that wherever you lived and you are able to now hold office, because the issue is you have been denied even employment within your own country. You have been given contract appointment as if you are a foreigner. Those things have to be looked into.
Sorted out. And
then, of course, we have to feel free, just like the Constitution said, for you to live anywhere you want to live in Nigeria without feeling, that somebody is discriminating against you. And I think these are some of the things that we looked at, and some other very important issues that have to do with, our own values. Because some of the participants, for instance, were saying that, look, we have to look at the values. What are the things that we cherish? Why is it that in the past, you travel around the country, you will see that people even keep their goods on the road, and they're not there, and nobody will touch it. You cannot do that today. Today, there must be a security man there, or else you come back in the morning, there will be nothing.
The summit that you talked about. So what kind of caliber of people are we expecting at the summit that is going to take this idea of the elite consensus forward?
Yeah, I think at the summit, we expect that, all the groups that were sampled in our, research, the survey we did, we had traditional rulers.
Okay.
We had the political elites, those that were governors, either serving or retired, senators and all that, all the top, politicians.
Right.
Then we also talk about businessmen, because, and those in the financial sector.
Right.
Talk about those in the media. We talk about those in the trade unions.
Okay.
So we have a broad spectrum,
You mentioned Nollywood too.
Nollywood and all entertainment industry. So we have a broad spectrum of elites that were expected will be invited, to that summit. And then, of course, further discussion will be made on the document that has been, developed.
Okay. And possibly it will be fed into the constitutional amendment process.
They will have, because it is a research that has been done, and that this is what Nigerians are saying among your own group of people that are also enlightened in their own way, because you are an elite, because you are educated, or you have some wealth, or you have influence. Okay, so therefore, these are the same individuals that are, feeding this, making up these positions, taking these positions, that there's a need for change. So I think the changes they've been talking about, I think is now the time really for them to
make it happen.
To make it happen in terms of being real.
Right. Yeah. Now, in your own view, is it not better for us to have a brand new constitution rather than this every 4 years tinkering that we do with the constitution? Is it not better to just have a clean new federal constitution that we know is the one that we, the people ourselves, brought up?
You see, the problem with having a new constitution means it is not this current members of the National Assembly that will make the constitution, because they cannot be a judge in their own case. So it has to be, some Nigerians that are different. But then you have the problem of already you have an elected assembly. Now, will you convoke, a different group? How will they be brought into that summit? Or do we now dust other summits that have been done and see if we can get something that we can use as a new constitution? But the problem is the process of even making a new constitution is going to be very difficult, and even the amendments sometimes may not see the light of the day. At the end of the entire.
Don't you think that if the big political wigs, like the president, like the National Assembly leaders, if they push for it, like the governors, if they buy into this idea, I mean, the president clearly even has a platform that this was what he was talking about before he became president. So shouldn't we expect that there will be that kind of drive, even from the presidency, to say that, look, this is a new constitution. What we need is a true federal system under a new constitution. Yeah, is that something too difficult to expect?
It is not too difficult. That's why I talk about the political will. If they are willing, for instance now, the president and the National Assembly. Now, luckily for them, they even have majority, both in the House of Reps and in the Senate. And even the governors, they have majority, the 24 governors they're looking for to do anything in Nigeria. They have it. So to make any change will not be difficult if they have the will to do it. And they have a program for it. Because what you need to do is, okay, everything you want to do, there must be a start time and an end time. When do you start, when do you finish? You must have a timetable, you must have a program. It's okay, we want to do this amendment, or we want to have a brand new constitution. How long is it going to take us? Let's now have, we can have all the discussions we want to have.
Right.
We can even get the groups to come and look at, what we were bringing in. And then if they adopt it, fine, because that would take a shorter time if you have already something that people can look at.
True.
So things that are not important are removed, things that are important are left. At the end of the day, there is the people that have made the constitution. Then it's easy to go through the 24 states because they will get that. You may even get more than that, because it is very clear that virtually every person in Nigeria knows that there's the need, to have something different. Because on the issue of, for instance, state police, virtually all the persons, we agree that, the time for it is because of the context in which we are living in. You look at the situation in the country.
The insecurity
virtually everywhere. There's so it is in the interest of, it is for our own survival, as a country. And so if we want to survive as a country, that's why we talk about the self-enlightened interest of the elites. They must be interested.
I think that we should also have an elite consensus on fighting poverty. The level of poverty in our country is too, multidimensional, and it's such a huge problem. And I think there should also be an elite consensus on fighting corruption. I think it was President Buhari, late President Buhari, God bless his soul, who said that if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill us. So in terms of the feedback that you are getting, are people also pushing that, look, there should be a consensus on fighting corruption and fighting poverty? Last question.
When we did, the field work and the results came in, we looked, the issue of corruption, for instance, we have some items, plea bargaining, whether you support the country should use plea bargaining, whether you support the country should use custodian sentence, whether you support, death penalty.
Right.
And I think one other item, about 4 or 5 items, 4 items. You will be shocked that the men, that's the male respondents, were in support of plea bargain. Majority of them.
The men.
The men. Majority of the female respondents were in support of death penalty.
On the issue of corruption.
The issue of corruption.
The women want death penalty.
Death penalty.
But the men want plea bargain. Interesting.
So when you rank their responses, you will see that, for the women, that plea bargain, I think it was the last. For the men, death sentence is the last. So it changes. Look at it often. So that is for the issue of corruption. For the issue of poverty, I think the problem really is that if we are serious about fighting it, there are countries that have done that. China, for instance, within 4 decades, 800 million people were removed from poverty. But they didn't just do what we're doing now. What they did was to establish first a national register to know where the poor people are living. You can't just want to do something without data.
Yeah.
You will not get anywhere. So first they registered them. Then they now sent about 300,000 civil servants to those places where poor people are living to live with them and let them think out a solution, something that is sustainable, that the people can do.
I think probably it was in 1960 that Nigeria was even projected to be better than China.
Yes.
But see, they seem to have solved their poverty problem. Hopefully, we too will get to that point.
One day.
And I hope that this elite consensus push might also help us to have a very innovative and creative way to solve the problem of poverty and other problems that we deal with. Thank you so much, Professor Zwaka, for your work, as a member of the Elite Consensus Committee and also as a member of the Academic Advisory Board of the National Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies. And thank you for coming to Inside Sources.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
And thank you for your work as a professor of political science.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And there you have it. That is another edition of Inside Sources. Like we always say, Nigeria will prevail. It means that Nigeria will win because we will not relent. We will keep on pushing the issues, and we are sure that one day we're going to get a break. My name is Laolu Akonde. Thank you for watching. I'll see you at the next edition by the grace of God.